it's just one big story, isn't it?
Hi everyone, welcome to the Story Connection. I'm your host, Donna Wilberg. Well, everyone has a story, and whether it's fact or fiction, there's usually a story behind the story. Today we have brought on board Gary Martin from Access and Michelle Barbaria, and they're going to be talking about a storytelling event that's going to take place right here in Sacramento. So we're really happy to have them on board. Hi, you guys.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Well,
thank you.
thanks for being here. Okay, so let's talk about a place called Sacramento, a local film festival that's weeks away.
15th annual.
Yes.
139 films produced in 14 years prior to this, and is one of the very first original Sacramento-based film festivals. And the nice part about ours is that all of the stories from the Story Connection are set in and around the community in the region of Sacramento. So it's a unique one.
I love it. Michelle, you've been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah, this is my 6th year helping. So.
And you've probably got a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
Well, you've not only been involved in launching the film festival, you've always, you've worked on crews, you've done all kinds of things as well.
Since my first year working here in the office and helping on the festival, I've made sure that I can get involved in at least one of the films each year. The first year I was ambitious and helped on several, and just I'd rather give my all to one or two people, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've met so many cool people and inspiring people here in the community, and it's so fun to watch them tell their stories. So.
Yeah. Well, Gary, what can we expect from the Place Called Sacramento this year?
Well, we won't actually know what stories we're going to hear until we receive those scripts, because first and foremost, A Place Called Sacramento starts off as a script competition. And although we have each taken some phone calls from people who are asking certain questions, for example, at least one of the people who is submitting a script has asked about shooting here at the historic Coloma Community Center. So if that script is selected, we could see lots of pictures around Access Sacramento. But you never really know. The stories in years past have included comedies and science fiction and narrative dramatic stories. So you never really know what you're going to find. But I think what we're going to find is some great filmmaking and certainly some great stories centered around Sacramento.
Great. Well, you've taken preliminary steps to the date, which is April 11th?
April 11th is the script date. So
Okay.
the scripts are due in here at the office. And now our new thing is you can submit online through our website.
Oh, sweet.
So you don't have to rush down here on Friday afternoon, and you can stay in your pajamas, stay up late, and don't worry about driving somewhere. Just send it in.
So just a week and a half now. April 11th is the deadline for submitting. There's a $20 fee that goes with that submission process as part of the competition. But the big date for the festival itself is October the 6th. We'll be down at the Crest and in the afternoon, and the 10 films and the 10 scripts that were selected soon after April 11th will then be produced over the summer. And the 15th annual festival hits the big screen on October the 6th.
Wow. Well, you've had some classes that have preceded the event or the turn-in date. So how did that go?
Well, these classes are always really popular. They're taught by instructors, that are professionals in their field, and they're limited on capacity, but they're very intense. So usually only a day or two, and they learn a lot.
The one that just finished up about a week ago was taught by Professor Lauren Wagner, who did the screenwriting class. So it was just 4 Saturdays and dealt with how to, in short form, create a beginning, middle, and end and character development and to make that script a possibility. Of course, not everybody in that class is targeting a place called Sacramento, but hopefully we'll get a good crop of people who are going to deliver scripts based on that. Last year, a couple of the people in that class actually
Yeah.
got selected.
Yeah, they had. I think there was at least 2 selections from that class. I mean, they have stories in their minds. This just helped them develop it and do it in the correct format, and really just know how to round out their story.
Sounds good.
The next class that's coming up in about 3 weeks starts April 26th. It's taught by Nate Schemmel, and he is a local filmmaker, actually runs a different film festival himself, but he's also a professor who teaches at the Art Institutes and at Sacramento City College. And so he's doing a 4-week session, 4 one-day classes that deal with filmmaking tips. And that's for people who have a little less experience and want to learn more about using a camera and audio and lights and how all of those pieces come together to tell a story. And that leads up to the grand event, right, on
Yeah.
May the 28th.
We have the PCS cast and crew call. So a place called Sacramento cast and crew call. The community is invited to come out. That means everybody, whether or not you're a filmmaker or an actor. If you want to try at it, you're welcome to join. We're looking for people to make food for crews. It's a really fun
Yeah.
thing to be a part of, and fun for networking too. So you meet lots of cool people there too.
I love it.
Really
It's
exciting.
just such a collaboration, of community members, whether it be, like you said, the people making sandwiches, or that was
Yeah.
always the
Was that
favorite
your
thing.
first job? Is that you making sense?
No, I wish. Actually, no, I did make a few sandwiches. I had some, when I was entered, I had some really good people behind the scenes. Michelle, you were one of them.
Oh, thank
and you can't make a movie happen without these people. It's a lot of work.
It really is a community event
It
when
is.
it comes to making a film. I forget who said it, that in order to make a film, an army moves on its stomach, but a filmmaker moves on a bank. You have to be able to pay for the crew and well, not pay for it, it's all volunteers for the most part. But the idea that it is expensive to a degree because you have to have access to equipment. Which is where Access Sacramento helps, because if you're a member of Access Sacramento, you check out the equipment and use it for free.
Wow.
So as a place called Sacramento Festival, it's really our mission to get those voices out there and to provide opportunities for people to have their stories not just written, but created and told and appear on the big screen. So it's very exciting for us.
Yeah, that's like you said, that's the thrilling part, is to write a story and to have it up on a big screen is just such a thrill, such a thrill. Well, let's talk about the entrance or the entries you had last year. There were some
Okay.
really, really fun films.
Oh yeah, I am the one that receives all the numbers, I should say, as they come in, the judges' scores and judges' notes. And over the last several years, the competition has become a lot more intense. It's fun to watch because people are really starting to open up and go, I get it. I'm going to share this story. I was inspired. And then you've got somebody else with such a wonderful story, and it's always just neck and neck. Sometimes these are just like 1 point away. So it's like a really slow car race, but it's really fun and it's exciting. So just so many great stories out there, and I really want to share. I want people to be inspired by Sacramento. We get on occasion some kind of like a tour of Sacramento. But I want people to know they can write about the heart of Sacramento, what happens here, what happened to them. Maybe they have a favorite location that has a really unique history. Maybe they have their own story that happened only in Sacramento. And I really want people to share those stories. So I've seen that kind of happening over the last few years, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to see what shows up this year.
Okay.
There were a couple of films last year that that hit home for me in that regard. One had to deal with actually sex trafficking. Was the idea of a young girl who's trapped in a bad situation at home, ends up finding somebody to kind of help her get away from that situation. and then that story turns badly. And so that was an opportunity to explore a side of any community that would be unexpected in a festival like this, but truly does inspire someone to look at their situation and how to improve it. Beyond that, there was a really great story called The Lottery Ticket. It was written and starred Brian Jagger. And it was a very heartfelt story because you're really rooting for this family that is struggling, and then there's a really cool twist on the way it turns out.
Which these films are also available on YouTube, so people
Yes.
can watch the films from last year, the
Yeah,
year
Access
before.
Sacramento has a YouTube page where we've loaded our films up, and you can watch almost all of the films. They can also go to our website, which is the www.accesssacramento.org, and yes, that's with all the S's. And you can click on the link that'll take you to that page.
Great.
But you can watch all the films there,
Now,
and
was-
some older ones too.
Wasn't there one about a cupcake?
Yes.
festival?
Resolution.
Resolution.
Jessica Ben's story.
Yes.
And yes, what a fun story. And yes, there were cupcakes associated with this.
I remember the cupcakes.
Yeah, there was that trend the last couple of years of all the cupcakes and the specialty cupcakes, and she was being tempted, I guess, so it inspired her.
Wow. So there's so many different subject matters and stories.
Yeah, about the only genre that we don't do is documentary, just because that's harder to follow and you can't really script that. You can do a mockumentary, so if somebody's
comedy.
writing a mockumentary, that could be fun,
Yeah. We even have the sci-fi kind of borderline horror kind of story. We had a monster film of sorts, similar to a ABC afternoon special, where Goosebumps kind of a idea, but where there's a creature involved, and that ended up winning audience favorite at last year's festival on the 14th.
That was Talipo?
Talipo,
Talipo,
right? Written
yeah.
by Dwight
Yeah.
Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cute. That was really cute. Wow. So, well, you're looking forward to more exciting scripts coming in this year with a lot more. It seems like every year they keep getting better and better.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. It's been very cool to watch.
Yeah.
So
Well, why don't we show a couple clips of,
Okay.
of some of the films that we saw?
All right.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of fun.
So many good stories to tell, and we can only hope that this year's will have just as high a quality.
Yeah. Okay, so any recommendations for storytellers out there? Do you have any tips?
I just want to know their stories. So I just want people to share. Be brave. Try it out. It won't hurt to try and submit. We have great judges. We have a different pool of judges that we rotate every year, and they have great input that they give back. And a lot of our winners are people who may have submitted in the past and took those notes to heart and wrote their story again or wrote a new story and became winners because they kept trying. And so I would say if you have submitted in the past, try again. they're building on that.
Yeah.
So
And it's
don't give
tough. I mean, a short form story in 10 minutes to try and create some connection with an audience really does take a certain amount of focus in order to make that happen. Because like any story, it still needs to have a beginning and a middle and an end. Like any great story, it's going to have some type of conflict. You want to be able to root for those characters in some way. And the ability to create that is not on a first draft. You have to put it in, re-edit it, take the time, and then put it in to submit. And there's still about 10 days, Don, where people
Yeah.
can get that deadline in, and on April 11th be able to submit a story. Even if they started today, they can get it done.
Yeah, and a lot of, even the chosen scripts right throughout the summer, because there's rewriting. You maybe say, oh no, one of the characters got sick and didn't make it. How are we going to change this but keep the story going? It happens all summer. It's fun to see. It's kind of a challenge, but it always gets done, and that's what's amazing. There's so many great crew people out there that are inspiring. So even as the stories kind of morph, sometimes you'll see the judges will come back and go, that's the one I read, but that didn't turn out like I read it. And then they come back and go, well, things happened, or they modified the story as they went along, or they went to a location and it wasn't what they thought, so they fixed it. But it's a neat process.
Yeah.
The last rewrite of the script is always by the editor.
So true. That's very true. What do you think the draw is to this particular film festival?
I think it's a great place to network. If you're new at this, and it's a good place to try out, maybe you haven't submitted to another festival, this is a good starting place because there is a lot of support. This is really a community building event, and we want people to meet other people to then flourish and do more creations. That's why we do have some people that are more experienced. They want to submit because they want to work with new crew, they want to work with new people, they want to see other people succeed. And it's a really inspiring and creative, supportive place. I don't think you'll find another festival that is this supportive. As you're going through the process, you can call me, you can call Gary, you can call anybody here in the office, and we will do our best to not only find you that help, the other filmmakers help the other filmmakers, so the winners have helped winners. And it's really fun to do.
It can be a very isolating thought when you're writing the story, and to think that it might not ever go anywhere. And for many of the storytellers who have had their scripts selected over the last 14 years, they many times are writing their very first screenplay. We had a young gentleman last year, 2 years ago, who was selected, who wrote another script last year. How old was he when his script 2 years ago?
Well, he's 13 now,
So he would have
so
been.
he was 10. But when we receive the scripts, we send them out to the judges without names on them. We take the covers off, so nobody knows who wrote it. We don't send out, the first round doesn't have any application or anything. It's all just on the merit of the story and the structure. And we saw 2 names. We saw with the same last name, which we've had, husbands and wives submit, and kind of like a writing team kind of a thing going on. So we assumed it was a husband and wife, and wow, look, at the end they both won.
Oh,
And
my
when
goodness.
they came in, it wasn't a husband and wife. There was a mother that won, and that was Restitution. And her son, Ian Winton, so Cheryl Winton was Restitution. Ian Winton was her son, and he wrote a film. And then last year, he wrote another film called Scratch and won. And this is a different set of judges. So it was really exciting to, this is a
exciting.
child who went up against, professionals, adults, and it's just...
And that's the
amazing.
beautiful thing about having a great story to tell. And a program like Story Connection, I mean, you certainly know about stories, but it's the ability to take that and put it into a concrete form on paper that allows it to be judged and ultimately selected. And A Place Called Sacramento is so much fun. When the crest fills up and you have nearly 900 people there watching films that were created by Sacramento folks, all about Sacramento, it is just such a warm community kind of feeling. You can't hardly feel any better about a film festival than A Place Called Sacramento.
And I imagine there's a lot of stories behind the stories that go on at Access. while people are out there making their stories.
What, are we a
into-
reality
into a
TV show
film.
here?
Yeah, I know. We've talked about having our own reality TV show behind Access. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people involved. I mean, talk about that. How much it takes to put it all together once you receive the films.
Well, the cast and crew call is a big deal. Before we go on more to about background of Access, I really want to make a point that there's a lot of filmmakers that have the fear, I'm going at it alone. I'm writing this alone, as Gary mentioned. You have that kind of like, oh, I'm going to be there alone. We have that cast and crew call. We have us here at Access, and this is part of what we do in the background is calling other people for you, trying to get you connected to the right people. That happens the whole summer, throughout the summer. But we do have a great pool of, say, people that could be your co-producer. Because you're the writer, you do turn into the producer, but that doesn't mean you don't have to do that alone. You could have a great co-producer. There's so many people that want to do that for you.
Yeah.
But being a writer, you get to see your story come to life with the help of these other folks.
And when you start talking about that connection, you don't have to be able to know how to operate a camera to be able to find someone who can operate a camera. In the same way that the picture is just one part of this story, you also need to be able to get great sound, be able to put music in the background, have it edited together, and you don't have to have all of those skills yourself in order to make the film. What you have to do is take a look at this graphic, because A Place Called Sacramento's cast and crew call is coming up on Wednesday, May the 28th. It starts at 6 o'clock. And it will be here right at the Coloma Community Center. And at that time, on the 28th, we will reveal the 10 films. The producers, the writers, will then introduce their story to a group of several hundred people who will be waiting to find out which ones strike their heart. And then the producers go out to tables, and those people who want to be actors or want to be technical people running cameras, running audio, are able to walk up to the producers and say, pick me, I want to help you. And that's the beautiful part of A Place Called Sacramento, is that connection. And May the 28th is the date to put on your calendar. Hopefully, Donna, you're going to be there too.
I hope so.
And for those of the people that cannot make it, I do receive more in the background stuff. I do receive calls. I can't come. What do I do? You can email me. If you're an actor, you can email me a headshot. I don't care if it's professional. I'm not looking for someone to bring a $300. I mean, those people are great. Those headshots are great. But if you just have a photo of yourself with makeup or without makeup, a full body, same thing as you would get from a professional. But as long as we have that, we can share that. I can email that out to all the producers. And there's also the producer's information on the website that will be posted after that event. And they can email directly. So if there's only one specific one they're trying to get on, they can email that information.
I mean, many times casting is based on something very generic, like, I need a young man 13 to 16 years old with curly hair.
Right.
If that's the limit, I mean, it could be your big acting break because you have curly hair. It's one of those situations, right place, right time, and it's a community event. Everyone's invited.
And don't give up. We've had actors come in and say, well, I was going to go with a young boy, but I decided to go with a tomboy instead. I found this adorable girl. So, don't just go by what it says. They may find somebody that fits the bill.
That's
It may
true.
not be exactly what you thought you would want, and then you see that person, you're like, that's them.
Now, you provide a reel of actors after the event as well. So that's because I imagine it can be daunting.
Yeah, it
sitting there.
includes not only the actors, we have production crew as well. So everybody is welcome to do it. At the cast and crew call, we have a place where we'll have cameras set up. They hold a little thing with their name and the part they can circle that says, I like to do camera, I just want to be a grip. I want to make food, whatever it is, or multiple things. If they're not sure, they could put a big question mark and just says, I want to help you. So they could be the person that holds that light board for you, or,
Yeah.
It's just, it includes everybody that comes in that wants to be filmed. And so you get cast and crew on that reel. So
Yeah.
filmmakers are provided with that.
And the beautiful part about it, too, is that we have some experience in making these connections. I mean, this is our 15th Place Called Sacramento Film Festival, and all of those years, in the previous 14 years, there's only been one situation where a film was not completed. So we have a really good success rate for getting all of those films in, helping producers to make their story come alive.
That's great. Well, you know what? I can't believe it. We're running out of time. Why don't we give everybody the information again of how they can contact you and if they have any questions about Place Called Sacramento?
The website to start is always accesssacramento.org. And to go to that website, you'll find a place called Sacramento as an element of a menu to pull down. And as you go to a place called Sacramento on the website, it'll give you the details that we've mentioned. The first deadline is April the 11th, when you're going to have a script submitted. For about a month, there'll be some judging. Then we have the next class, the filmmaking class, which starts on April the 26th. Following that, we'll make some selections, and then on May the 28th, you'll be able to participate in the cast and crew call, where everybody gets together. There is a acting for the camera class that starts on May the 31st, the following Saturday, and then it's all about making films. And then October the 6th,
It'll
the
be up on the
festival
big
up
screen.
on the big screen.
Great.
First Sunday in October.
Okay.
Every year.
Well, it sounds exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it personally. Well, let's give a little bit of information about the Story Connection, shall we?
The Story Connection airs the second and fourth Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our companion show, Paranormal Connection, airs the first and third Thursdays of each month. Each episode repeats the following Friday at 1:30 p.m. and Saturday at 5:30 a.m. You can watch these programs online at the same air times by going to accesssacramento.org and clicking Watch 17, or you can watch us on Comcast Channel 17 in the Sacramento region and on AT&T Channel 99. For information on upcoming shows and previous Story Connection guests, go to storyconnectiontv.blogspot.com. You can contact us at storyconnectiontv@gmail.com, and don't forget, join us on Facebook, become a friend, and become a fan.
You've given so much information about this event and what people can expect, what to look for. Any more advice you want to throw out there before we're out of time?
Just be brave. Share your story.
Have fun. Have fun. It's fun to be a part of the team and put that story out there. And whether your story is selected or not, come be a part of the filmmaking because there's a great creative community in this area. And the 15th annual Place Called Sacramento, we want to have everybody there.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. And what we want to know is what's your story. So tune in next time and don't forget to contact us.